Time to start practicing yoga. So this rifle is a Norinco M305. It's manufactured in 2009 by Poly Incorporated. So this is a Chinese M14. And I've done a bunch of work to it. I had a lot of problems trying to get this sucker to shoot. Somebody slapped a bunch of the components together and I bought it used. And what I ended up having to do was glass bed the rifle in accordance with Al Lupino's method of bedding the M14 rifle, and that seems to have worked okay. I'm getting 1.5 inch groups with open sights at 100 meters off bags with this rifle, which I believe I could probably decrease by about 1/2. I figure this is a minute of angle rifle now if I were to run optics. I got an arms 18 mount I'll probably put on here and just test it out, and that's with 1993 vintage Norinco surplus 7.62x51, and that ammunition, I've chronographed it, is running at about 2,770 feet per second at a muzzle velocity. What else have I done to this rifle? Well, I'm running M1 Garand sights on it. It just seemed to be a little bit more consistent. I'm also running a national match spring guide, and I'm running a national match flash arrestor on here. For all intent and purposes, this is the easy stuff to do to accurize the rifle. I've bedded it. The gas system right here is unitized. It's been welded, and I don't know if you can hear this or not. Hear that? It's the ping. That's what you want to hear with an M14 rifle. I was getting some contact on the inside of the barrel channel here because the previous owner had removed the sling swivel mount up here, and they've bedded in a couple of swing swivel studs, as you can see here. And actually I like it. He did the same thing here in the buttstock. So if you want, you've got the latitude of attaching a bipod onto the rifle. Not my thing. I believe these rifles should be shot open sights. Otherwise, they're just too cumbersome to field, in my opinion. I am going to put the serpent clip guide back on one day. But for now, we're just running, as you see here. What else have I done to this rifle? That's pretty much it. Other than obviously the USGI fiberglass stock, the M14 stock, and it's been filled in right here. So the selector switch has been filled in. No confusing this with the real M14. These rifles will shoot, in my opinion, they are the best bang for the buck so far as a semi-auto rifle in Canada is concerned. As I also understand it, China is I think it's factory 356, or is that the SKS factory? I forget. They've pretty much run out of their forged receivers, and so they're going to have to go back into production again and start manufacturing new receivers. And as such, the gravy train rumor mill has it that the cost of these rifles are going to double. You can expect to spend between $600 to $700, maybe more, when the new Norinco M14 rifles come out in Canada. So you better buy these things while you can, while they're still available brand new. The Dominion Arms from Canada Ammo, they're already sold out. I mean, I actually did have this on sale on Canadian Gun Nuts for $875, I think it was, and I'm just going to pull it off. Because these rifles, in a few years, this is going to be a $1,500 rifle. After you swap out the parts with the USGI parts where it's appropriate, they're going to go way up in price. They're not going to be really the affordable option anymore. I mean, you know, MRSP is still going to be lower than a Springfield M1A, but you can expect to see your M14 rifles go up in price probably within the next 5 years. They're going to see them double as they wind up the M14 line and start manufacturing new rifles or new receivers for the marketplace. Do I recommend these rifles? Absolutely. It seems to me you're getting about 50% chance that you're going to be getting a rifle that has a barrel indexing problem. This one does not, thankfully. However, the front sight is Norinco, and it's crap. It's on an angle. It's manufactured on a bit of an angle, and it's very prevalent when you're looking down the sights. The front sight is canted over maybe 1 or 2 degrees. Little things like that really bug me. Chinese quality control. The question is there any quality control? They're just manufacturing them, sticking them in boxes and shipping them out. Get them out, move them, move product, just get it out. So, you never really know what you're going to get until you open the box. And I've had a few of these where the barrels were so out of index, they were shooting about 5 inches to the left or to the right at 25 meters. That's pretty bad. So if Norinco, if you're listening, Norinco, Dominion Arms, whoever you are, if you're going to be manufacturing these rifles and increasing the cost accordingly, you better pay attention to your quality control, because honestly, we've accepted the quality standards that you're putting out, Norinco, because of the price factor. You increase the price factor, you're not going to sell as much product here. Anyway, let's go see what the target looks like. Okay, here we are. 2 5-round groups at 100 meters in the sitting position. As you can see, I need to move my front sight over to the right. It's a bit of a pain in the butt if you don't have a front sight tool. Like in my case, I don't have a front sight tool. Wish I did. However, you know, I guess we're about 2.5 inches here. A little bit of vertical stringing, and same thing here. That's my shooting. That's why I'm out here. I need practice. So, you know, essentially, I think I can tighten that up a bit. This is with the Chinese ammunition. Circa 1993 manufacturer, steel cased 147 grain full metal jacket bow tail. 2,770 feet per second, plus or minus about 16 or 17 feet per second. And I've actually found that the ammunition's pretty good. This is pretty much what I would get with a Lee Enfield, doing the same thing. And in many ways, I know some of you are not going to like this. I consider this to be almost like a semi-automatic Lee Enfield. And this is pretty much my go-to rifle for a lot of things. Of course, you want to use the right rifle for the right application. This is my kind of, I've hunted with these things and I've shot deer with these things, and they are a little bit heavy to carry in the field, and the flash hiders are a pain to keep clean because they will rust. All the nooks and crannies in these rifles, but they do the job, and they always seem to go bang when you pull the trigger. Hunting in the Charlottes once with an M1 Garand, I had a failure to fire. Primer just was not getting struck hard enough. and it was driving sideways rain, and the rifle wood was saturated, and I learned something that trip. I've decided that I'm going to stick with synthetic stocks on these rifles. Not only for field savvy, but because of weight. These are a heavy rifle. Carrying them in the field can get a little bit tiresome. So there you go. That's the Norinco M305, or in this case the Poly. They all come out of the same factory, they're just sold under different names. And for example, Canada Ammo has the Dominion Arms, is kind of their house brand. There's Poly Incorporated, there's Norinco, but essentially they all come out of the same manufacturing line, as it were. So anyways, you can see some vertical string in here. That's me. That's why I'm out here. I need to do some practice. So we're gonna do a sight correction here, and we're gonna patch these targets, and then I'm going to bump things out to 200 meters. And after that, once I kind of get the sights aligned, I'm going to do some hand loads testing with the chronograph, and today's my day on the range. Okay. Not bad, not bad. It's about 1.25 inches. Not bad. Surprisingly good for what I thought was so-so ammunition. Yeah, well, here's some groups off bags. I was just trying to bang these off so I get myself zeroed. This is where I was. Here's where I've ended up. Here's the point of aim. So, you know, without a front sight tool, it's starting to bug me here. Drifting it back and forth. I think I'll just leave it where it is now and run it the way it is. Good enough. Gotta try some different ammunition through this rifle anyways. And so you can see, you know, it's a after it's all said and done, after you've spent the time and care and attention to try to get the rifle tuned in, you know, with open sights, it's a 1.5 M1A rifle. Who knows what it can do with optics? But with open sights, 1.5 minutes of angle. There's nothing wrong with that. So long as the shooter does its job, the rifle will too. I know that a lot of you like to run these rifles with optics. I am not one of those people. These things were bred and designed to run open sights. And that's how I run these rifles. There's nothing wrong with putting optics on it, but when you start adding the weight, I don't know if you carry these in the field or not, but you should try it. If you're very much into running these rifles with optics, I think you'll soon find that you're not enjoying yourself carrying these things in the field. The balance point makes it very, very butt heavy when you put optics on it. The balance point is right here. It's kind of a cumbersome location to have to carry it, so it's pretty much a two-handed carry, or you're running it with it slung over your shoulder. Incidentally, just so you know, when I bedded it, the Alupino method, I had to remove a fair amount of material from the barrel channel here. It's just kind of a postscript here. A bit of a, because I was getting a fair amount of contact on the inside. I was very surprised to see that. But now that it's actually moving and it's returning back to zero, my groups before that were about 5 inches at 100 meters. I was pretty unhappy with that, and so I had to kind of revisit the drawing board here and go back to square one and start all over again. And I'm real glad I did, because instead of having a group this big, I'm and it's in the sitting position, so this and does way better in the off the bench. But an 1.5 inch fiber on group is pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with the rifle. Yeah, going back to the optics thing, I'm an open sights guy, and I think more people should be shooting open sights, just for the convenience. This rear sight system is a gift with the windage and the elevation. It is a gift, and it's a beautiful rear sight, and I think more people need to start using them. Don't take them off and put a scope mount on there. I'm sorry, lots of retailers are not going to be happy to hear me say that, because if you take my advice, they'll be selling less product, and rightfully so. There's no need for you to, unless you got really, really bad eyes, well, update your prescription. Shoot these rifles the way they were meant to be shot. That's my opinion. Alright guys, that's it. Rifle Chair signing out, and Maple Leaf up.